do they hit two? Why are the old school? Do they go?
So you can hear how that hard consonant hits into the mic.
And then what did they say? What happened to the Lindbergh baby 3, 4, 5?
That's right.
Was there a reason behind that?
There was. It was.
Okay.
It was FCC rules.
FCC rules.
Yes, you had to say
Remember
something.
That time
you had to say something inappropriate every time you tested a mic, or they'd fine you.
Remember when we went to that party for the FCC and you were yelling out FCC rules? And we couldn't stop laughing.
I know, but we got free shrimp.
Did we?
Yeah.
Now, is this on now?
It's on.
So would you say the first part of it, would you say like, it'd be like one of those movies, Henry Jaglom movies?
Uh-huh.
Have you ever seen any Henry Jaglom movies?
Like
I love that one. Always, but not forever.
He was on later with Greg Kinnear years ago once.
What was he? He is... I met him once in a restaurant,
yeah.
and you could tell he's got some issues. But he said, he said to me and my wife, does it seem hot in here? Like that. So he's like an old-style Jew.
So you got together with him quickly then.
Yeah. I said, you know what? I do feel a little bit of heat. But I love that one movie. But then he kind of seems like a know-it-all.
I respect that because when know-it-alls just create their own little thing. Like Jaglom, it's like that's the best thing a know-it-all can do.
Don't get me wrong. You know that movie I'm talking about called Always But Not Forever?
Yes.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
And it's with the guy from Bob Rafelson's in it.
Uh-huh.
From what's the name of that motion picture company that started it all out with Easy Rider.
Yeah, and the Monkees. He was part of the creative team of Bob Rafelson.
Wow. I was originally supposed to be Peter Tork in life.
In life. I was always going to be a Mike Nesmith pretty much, I think.
I watched that show when I was a kid. What year did it come out?
I think 66.
Yeah. So I saw it the first time around, and I said, oh, my God, I cannot believe how funny. They're just so goddamn funny.
Right.
And I would just sit there at home. I go, first of all, how are they coming up with this? Seriously. I really thought I bought the reality. I mean, I didn't buy the Partridge Family.
Right.
But I kind of bought the.
You just didn't buy a family getting along.
What, a family that's they get along so well, they play in a band together?
Right, that's a little much.
Yeah, that's a little much.
How about having dinner? How about that?
Let me see that portrayed on TV.
That's right. Get a manager for dinner.
But the Monkees I thought were so great. But that was Buck Henry, too.
No, it wasn't.
Buck Henry was not involved with the Monkees?
As far as I know, Buck Henry had nothing
Get
to
Smart.
do with him. He was definitely involved with Get Smart,
You know,
which is a whole different ballgame.
I realize there's a lot of, and I'm proud of myself as I get older, that I've lost that part of myself that would bullshit through many situations. I mean, I swear to God, I can't tell you how many times I claimed expertise in things
that
I don't have.
Norm Macdonald had that great bit in his act years ago about...
Why Did I Lie?
Right. Like, have you heard the new Sting album? Yes, and then my brain's going, what do I possibly stand to gain from this lie?
He goes, you see that movie where Willie Nelson rides into a casino with a horse? Yes. Electric horse. Why did I say yes to that? Right. Where did I stand to gain from that stinking lie?
I know, I was guilty of that a lot as a kid, and then it lost. Being wrong hurt too much, so I stopped.
Well, also, before we had the internet and all that kind of stuff, I bought most rumors, like Eddie Haskell is in Vietnam. There were other stuff.
Life would have been different with Snopes as a kid.
Now, isn't Snopes fake?
There probably is.
No, haven't there been a couple of fake things that goes, don't open this. Snopes says don't open this, and they're using Snopes? Why is it not Snoops?
Probably because that was cyber squatting.
You know, I came down the street today. They're still there. Josh.
The people looking out the window at you?
What are they trying to prove?
Maybe you need to mix up your route a little bit.
Well, I mean, are they pitching a show? Seriously. It's 9 o'clock. First of all, do they not? They know I'm looking in.
It's time for the walk by.
Do they know that I'm looking in? Who wouldn't look in?
Sure.
Would you look in?
They call it a picture window for a reason.
And they're in there. There's a woman who's opposite me. I mean, she was facing the street.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell her ethnicity, and that's my main thing. All I try and tell is a person's ethnicity.
Right.
And I check it off in my, did I know what their ethnic background was? I can't tell. I think they could be from Pakistan, or they could be from, like, Minneapolis.
Okay.
But don't you think this would be a great novel? I walk by this house.
Front window.
I know. I nose my late model Plymouth down. I can't say the name of the street.
Street.
Main Street.
Right.
over to Weinstein Circle.
Right.
All right, that won't be a funny thing or a good thing.
But it'll bide your time.
It's a living.
It's a living. It's just a hobby.
So first of all,
welcome to Thought Spiral.
Welcome to Thought Spiral. Yeah, why wouldn't we say that?
I don't know.
You know why? Because that's what the man wants us to say.
The man wants us to have theme music. The man is really coming down.
12 minutes before the hour. And you're listening to Thought Spiral. And don't forget Aerosmith's coming. I'm never going to start doing this bit. Aerosmith's coming to town this weekend. They're going to be at the forums. You'll get those bad boys. It's a rock block. It's a no-repeat weekend. It's a 2 for Tuesday.
It's all those things.
It's all those things. So here we are again. The show is ringing off the hook. If it was a phone,
yes.
People first of all, people respond to it more positively than they respond to my Twitter presence.
It's hard to believe.
If you would ever told me when I was a kid that I would be ostracized for saying I'm okay if someone's Muslim, I wouldn't have seen that coming. That would have been the opposite of what I was saying. So what happens to you later in life? Well, I started to say, I think all people are okay, regardless of their religious affiliation. And that got on the wrong side. That gets on the wrong side of, I think, most of my friends, is what I would say.
Yeah. There's definitely a high...
They're not my friends anymore.
Comedy atheist contingent.
Yeah, but I really have a problem with people who are hating people based on their religion. Yeah, I really have a problem. So I have no more... I've lost friends. I've lost comedy... Did I mention this already? I lost a lot of friends from the 90s, comedy type people.
Yeah.
That I realized were jerks.
Right.
You know? I always tried to be nice to them.
Right.
And... then I saw them all gang up on me on Facebook because they found out I'm not an atheist or something.
Right. Well, it sounds like another Prozac moment where, hey, I don't have to worry what everybody thinks of me.
Yeah. That's the thing. I think if I had to measure it, I care what everyone thinks about me when I started therapy. Now I care only about half the population.
That's pretty good. Yeah, when you think of that you've eliminated 3 billion people from your problem list, you're doing well.
Yeah. Now, do you watch any reality shows? Like I watch the Housewives. You don't watch them, though, right?
No.
Yeah, I that's good. But sometimes on a reality show, they'll have a scene where the person will go in and talk to a therapist.
Right.
Those therapists who agree.
That is a Beverly Hills sort of therapist.
If you go to a therapist and you notice that they're cheating out everything they say to you. They just by habit are blocking themselves right. to address the camera.
Right. My good side. Could we move the couch?
It's unbelievable. But, look, I'm on TV, and if anything goes.
Yeah. Do you couch it at therapy?
Yes. In fact, my both of my therapists, I have a therapist for that just handles my medication. I have a big crew.
One's a therapist, one's an actual psychiatrist, right?
Right.
Gotcha.
And so they both have couches that I tend to sink down into.
Okay.
But I don't do the old Freudian thing. Nobody does that. And
no.
The old Freudian thing has, I think, been debunked.
No, but you've seen enough Woody Allen.
No, I mean debunked the way Freud was specifically doing it. You want to sleep with your mother.
Right.
You want your father to get something.
Yes.
Everything.
But not everything Freud said has been debunked. But yes, but Freudian psychology is not the predominant.
When did let's have a fake fight. When did I say that everything? This is how it would be in a real fight.
You need more fake fights in your life.
Here's what I'd be in a real fight. When did you hear me say? Okay, here I'll start it out this way. Don't put words in my mouth, Josh.
Okay.
When did? What was that?
I'm texting condolences to Susan.
No, but I never said that everything Freud said was. I kind of implied that. First of all, again, I don't know anything about Freud. What's that?
Once you said debunked, it was a hard word.
No, I meant like the kind of thing where that strict Freudian psychoanalysis, right. I don't think is practiced that much anymore.
I don't think it is either.
But again, I haven't read any Freud. It's all hearsay. Can you make arguments and be intelligent with hearsay?
People try.
They do that all the time. Yes. You are pretty energetic today, I must say that.
Thank you very much.
65 degrees downtown Los Angeles.
Right. Feeling good on the ride in.
You're feeling good on the ride in. You're listening to Thought Spiral. Now, what test show are we at now?
This is test show number 11.
Oh, man, we're rolling it.
We are. I think that might be a good podcast record.
We may, right now, if we do one more, we're up into the 1 percentile.
That's right.
It's amazing that podcasts don't last long since they pay no money and take up time.
Right. Since they're a fake obligation one creates for themselves.
Yes. Right. And then I like when people go, which is I do it myself. Is this a podcast? I mean, is this a legitimate podcast? Well, what do you want? None of this was legitimate. No. 3 weeks ago, sit in someone's basement with a Bluetooth. I like my inner. I get in touch with my inner Rickles.
Your inner Rickles is never that far away. Is
No,
it?
no. I'm always on. Is what they say.
That's what I've heard. I'm waiting for it.
What do you mean you've heard? You've experienced it.
I have. Well,
come on, man.
I'll go back through the tapes.
What if I stop talking? Then you have nobody to talk to.
Oh
then.
my, it's true. It would be like my day.
We don't talk. This is the true thing, though. Josh and I hate each other's guts. We don't talk. We're like Abbott and Costello.
That's right. Preserve the chemistry for the magic.
We refuse to talk off stage.
That's right.
Actually, we're both very, very lazy, and we don't go out of the house. I'll tell you what.
A little from column A, a little from column B.
I won't say the name of the restaurant because I really do think I would end up not only revealing where we live, but having a GPS system,
right?
Making a watercolor of our specific houses. But my wife, Susan, does not like to be disturbed at home.
You're going to make the P.O. box your actual address.
Yeah, right. So there's a restaurant that I go to that we love, and it's on it's an Italian restaurant. Don't say the name.
That one across that street from
yes,
you?
very close.
I just tried that for the first time.
And what'd you think?
I liked it a lot.
That is literally my favorite restaurant. And now... So what I normally would do is I'd order, but I like to eat there. So I always feel one of my things that's hard to do is confronting anything that's uncomfortable, like picking up food.
Right.
That doesn't bother you.
No. Well, especially it's like 300 yards from your house.
Yeah, but I think people are dining there.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a restaurant. So now...
What do you mean?
Like, it's not a restaurant. I think you would normally order food to go. I have some weird thing in my mind.
Right.
That they're going to say to me.
Too nice for takeout? Is
Yeah,
what
are you doing with your flip-flop? I don't have flip-flops. Why are you dressed in shirts here? Why are they talking that way? It's an Italian restaurant.
Okay.
But DoorDash, and by the way, I know we're not supposed to promote things, but if DoorDash wants to back this podcast.
Well, they're backing most of my meals right now, so...
Just like we bring the conversation to you, let DoorDash bring the food to you. Also, by Rhombus Space. Do you think...
Will you please stop hitting that horse? The horse has been dead for months.
Also, brought to you by Isosceles Triangle.
No.
Where everyone's website looks like an isosceles...
You give me shit for puns, and then you keep trying to sell Rhombus Space.
What's puns?
Puns.
Well... I know when I make a pun, I'm laughing at myself.
Oh, okay.
When you do it, you're like, "Ooh,
I do meta puns.
I discovered the secrets of the ages." That's by Dr. Demento. Ooh, Dr. Demento. And tonight's the Lumpy Gravy song by Lumpy Gravy and the Gravies. Is that a dead on?
It was pretty dead on.
It's not bad.
It's among your best impressions.
And we go to a very special buffet in heaven where we see... he's not dead.
He's not dead.
I wonder what Jimmy Durante would think about all this.
I don't know. Turn around and then come back and tell me.
Turn around, but you know what? This time, don't come back. So, how was your week? Would anything stand out? Anything stick down?
It was a memory road laden week. I had the other night we went to a reunion of Later with Greg Kinnear, which was.
You're going to have to keep, these...
This was a late-night NBC talk show.
Most of our listeners...
Starring movie personality and Greg Kinnear.
Most of our listeners were born in 95 or they're born in 97.
Well, this was 94 and 95.
See, they don't know it.
Yeah.
They don't know.
And it was my first network job.
Right, and he came from... Tell everybody where he came from.
He came from Talk Soup.
Right.
And I did Talk Soup as well. I was hired on Later... I was not hired on Later. Our friend Joel Madison tried to not get hired himself and kept going, hey, you should meet my friend Josh.
Why was he avoiding work?
He was just, he didn't know if he wanted to do a talk show. He was a sitcom guy already.
Joel Madison Oh, by the way, Andy Levy, that's his name. Andy Levy. There's your shout out, Levy. I ruined the whole show just to give you your shout out. You owe me $75. Is there anybody else that you have to shout out?
No, I was pretty much waiting for that one.
Bob Dylan also said to say hi. So
I was waiting for Andy Levy to leave Fox to do the shout out. So
he's gone now, right? He's not on Fox News.
He no longer plays the role of the bearable guy on Fox.
Whenever he's on, I would watch the show he was on.
Yeah.
And also they had some stand-up comics I like on that show, which was Red Eye. But I never liked the host. And the host is Greg Gutfeld.
Right.
But he's friends with my friend Neil Hamburger. That's right. I'm not gonna. But Neil Hamburger doesn't. No, but we can't figure out how Greg Gutfeld ended up the way he did.
Yeah.
Because he used to be a mensch. I don't know.
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but I don't ever really watch.
Not enough to get into it. Let's talk about the five. So you went to this. Where was this?
This was at the Garland Hotel, formerly the Beverly Garland Hotel.
Where is that?
That's on Vineland.
On Vineland?
Yes, it used to be Beverly Garland's hotel.
Are you
she was the wife on My Three Sons, who brought Dodie to the table.
What did she do?
And a movie actress.
Oh, I know where this place is.
Yeah,
it's like a Best Western or something?
No,
or?
now it's a nice place. Now her sons redid it when she died, and it's a cool place now.
Well, then why don't we meet there for brunch?
They even have a screening room there. I did screenings of my doc. That's where you came to that. That was that.
No, I thought that was in Burbank or something.
No, it was in Studio City.
I'm mixing up. What's the place that we're talking about?
We're talking about the Garland, where you came for the first time.
Oh, I didn't realize Vineland. Vineland's the opposite way. It is in that direction. And now our special guests on the show are the Thomas Brothers. The Thomas Brothers, for those of you who don't live in Los Angeles, they're very popular.
Speaking of people who got wiped out by the internet.
Here's my interview with the Thomas Brothers. You know my favorite page? 593.
Really? I can't believe you said that to us, because we put a lot into that page.
They're 90 years old. You're acting like they're spritzers.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I can't believe. Herb said don't do that page like that, but I said no. Give me this one, Herb. Give me this one.
They told me I was a fool because as a kid I would measure everything. I would say, how far am I from the hoo-hoo house?
Let me grit it off.
And then cut to the two biggest stars in the cartography world. I don't believe in Cartesian maps anyway.
No, how about Freudian maps?
His maps have been debunked.
Yes.
His cocaine is still around.
That's good.
Good.
It was good shit.
And so you're at the Beverly Garland Hotel. I'm the worst interviewer.
We're at the Garland. And, it was really fun because there was a lot of people I hadn't seen in that long. And then a bunch of good comedy writer guys. Dave Gruber Allen, my best buddy.
Cool.
What? One of my best buddies.
This is... So you felt it was good to let me know during the podcast who your best buddy is?
You're on that shelf. You're
my
on the
best
same
buddy.
shelf. You're on the same shelf.
No. It wouldn't come out of your mouth so easily. With my real friend, you said real friend is what you said.
Yes.
Gruber.
Yeah.
Not some podcast
right.
hard ass.
Right. The person who I can talk to without a microphone.
That's good.
And Joel Madison, Mark Brazil, creator of That 70s Show.
I love Mark Brazil.
Tony DeSena.
Tony, who's a great writer and a friend who used to eat with all the... We used to have those...
the deli.
The deli at Victor's with Phil Rosenthal and all the boys.
Right.
And who else? Anybody else that you can think? Was Greg Kinnear there?
Greg Kinnear did not come. So
that is disgusting.
It was like Big Night.
Did you love that movie?
I did.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
That's the movie, and who's in that movie is... I used to have a crush on her.
I want to say Tony Shalhoub, but...
Maybe, but who's the woman who I've always had a crush on that woman? She was also in Muriel's Wedding or something like that.
I don't know.
But that's a great movie. If anybody gets a chance to see it.
Right.
It came and
Watch it and then tell us who was in it.
Yeah.
I remember the food. I remember the food a lot.
Food. I love that movie.
The bamba that they were making, the big thing with all the stuff in it.
Oh, no, but the thing I love, of course, I remember all the Jewishy complaint type things when the guy, his brother gets really mad, the people, because he wants to drop risotto. His brother tries to convince, let's drop risotto. Great. Why don't we have hamburgers? Hot dogs. That's the kind of man I related to, the guy who drove the business into the ground.
Hothead.
Yeah, exactly.
If only that was still a phrase in use. you would really have something.
What a hothead. And why did Greg Kinnear not come, though?
He has supposedly had a meeting with the director he's about to work with. So.
Well, the meeting can happen at any time. How long was the party scheduled
Whatever.
for?
He didn't want to come and see the people who worked for him a quarter century ago, maybe. I don't know. Any reason he didn't come was justified as far as I'm concerned.
Is that how you feel about it?
Absolutely.
You always take the man's point of view.
No, I just have to defend anyone who decides not to go to a party because I've been that person so many times.
Right, but you're not. But this is you wouldn't go to Josh
It's
Weinstein's
not like he
party?
organized it. It's not like he organized it.
I see.
It's not like he called the party.
Who called the party?
My wife was sort of part of it.
Ah.
And but Eddie October's assistant and Mike Rotman got involved.
Cool. Eddie October. How come I know him?
He's a producer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know people in the business. There's no question about it.
I've heard people.
So now you don't like parties
all over town.
Eddie October?
No, I don't like parties.
So were you, anything awkward happened? Did you?
I don't mind parties. If I know everyone at the party, I like parties.
So you weren't fired, then you were killing it?
Oh, God,
as they say
yes.
in Dying
Oh, God,
Up
it was
Here?
like being at the office, but with booze. Come on.
You mean the show The Office?
Yes, your fave.
Don't get me started.
I won't. So it was fun, and that's the show where Allison, my wife, and I met, too. So she was Greg Kinnear's assistant, and I was the head writer. So
that's so romantic.
It was, and it was secret, too.
Why, you were breaking a rule?
No, but we didn't want Greg to be paranoid, but that his head writer and assistant were somehow.
Oh, did he ever find out?
After I left.
Did he ever say anything? No, he isn't.
Congratulations.
Is he a general? You don't have to say anything for real, but
no,
he seems like a nice guy, right?
He was a good guy, yeah. He was a little out of his element doing a talk show.
I'm laughing because I know why he
was funny on Talk Soup. I worked on Talk Soup too. He was great on finishing
Talk
the story. Joel ended up getting that job that he was trying to get me instead of him, but they hired me at Talk Soup, and so then I worked at Talk Soup for like 2 weeks, and someone quit it later, and I came over there and did both for like 6 months, and then quit Talk Soup and just did later.
You've actually worked in your life.
I've worked.
I've skated by.
I was 23 when that happened.
Oh my God! You lived 8 lives.
Yes, I feel like I've lived it. And I had to go. I didn't have to, but Joel Madison is teaching a class of these college kids who came out here for this program, like young producer, writers, directors, and he's teaching a class on pitching, on how to pitch.
Is he teaching and affiliated with a school, or he just opened up his own, hung out his own shingle?
his own seminar shingle.
Right, so they get college. This is actually a course.
Yeah, it's a course. And so he asked me to come guest speak. And so
I was not asked to guest speak.
No.
You'd think you'd want one of the funniest Jewish funny men in the history of stand-up to grace your something or others.
Right, good pitch. Yeah, he really locked it in. He locked it in.
Can't even pitch me having a meeting there.
So it was fun. I got to do basically go down the memory lane of my entire career.
Okay, so now and the kids now they're not kids. Well, there are kids.
They were kids. I mean, they're kids from where I'm sitting.
Did you feel like it was like the actor studio type thing?
Well, I felt like I felt like a dildo kind of going through listing every job I've ever had, but once it kind of amounted to something, because if you look at my career, I've definitely made choices based on like I'm bored, time to do something else.
Right.
So they at least got to see that you can create your own sort of
way.
You can create your own way. Yeah, it's not just one path, and that was good. The other thing that I really always try to tell people now, is like who are starting now, is just like fucking make stuff.
Right.
Start making things and find the people around you who are into making stuff with you. Find a DP you can call and find a sound person and find this group of people because you're all going to rise together. And if you're going to be a producer, you need to start knowing who to call when things happen, and you need to be ready to do these things. But mostly you just need to make stuff. You need to get into the habit of starting a project and finishing it and putting it out.
Yeah, I think
it's a muscle that you get better at.
Yeah, I think that's many people's problems is the actually doing it part.
It is a problem, and but if you're already going to school to be a producer, it's just so important,
Right.
But then what was nice is that at the end, I talked about all the projects that I've done on my own too, albums and plays and short films and these documentaries, and So when I got to show him the short film, which like contained all these people who I've known for 25 to 30 years.
Oh, was it the comedy one?
It was, it was this short film with Dave Higgins and Mark Feit and Joe Keys and Vicky Kelleher.
I don't know this film.
It's called The Mediocre Samaritan. It's on YouTube.
Why have you never sent this to me?
I posted it the other day because I was reminded of it at this class. But it's called. It's on YouTube. It's called The Mediocre Samaritan. It's 13 minutes.
I think I can do that.
You think you can? Yeah, let's talk about it next week. But everyone go watch it this week. The Mediocre Samaritan.
How did it go over?
I went fine. You know what? The reason I did it. Oh, in the class?
Yeah.
It went good. You know.
Tell me the reason why you did it in real life.
The reason I did it in real life is because I had sold the screenplay, and there was a lot of talk about me maybe being able to direct it, and so, but I hadn't actually directed a film.
Oh,
so I like wrote this film. You know, hired a crew and really, spent a lot of money in order to just make it simulate like a real movie and not just three kids, and, just to make sure that I wasn't writing a check my ass couldn't cash with directing a movie and to have something to show them too. But
have you ever tried to cash a check with your ass?
I've tried an ATM.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. That was my interjection joke of the night.
The slot was too big. What?
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I'm not sure about that.
So yes, so I rented a cop car. I did, I spent a lot of money on this movie to make it look like it wasn't hard to imagine me directing a major motion picture.
That's really good. And now, was it expensive? No,
it was about $30,000.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
How come I never got in on this, Josh Weinstein?
You're on the podcast end of my career, unfortunately.
Well, do you think when you were talking to the kids that it may have been a little bit, you may have come off wrong by prefacing everything with, perhaps you've heard of this company, NBC, kids?
A little show called...
Yeah, a little show called, maybe you've heard of Greg Kinnear?
Well, Joel actually kind of set me up in that weird where Mystery Science Theater. I was on a show called Mystery Science Theater, and it was like that thing where it's like I was revealing it instead of just saying it.
Yes, and the show that he was on?
Right, like suddenly I'm fucking Paul Harvey. And, but it was...
Paul Harvey was a man who would come on the news it was about 60, 70 years ago. He died in 1927.
Don't footnote me.
And he would say, I'm Paul Harvey, and this is the rest of the story. You know what people love? My impression of Paul Harvey after I think everyone's done him.
It's Paul Harvey where he's with tight pants is what you were doing. So my advice on pitching really is mostly like, just remember you're teaching someone to pitch your show to someone else is basically what you always have to remember in a room. Unless you're pitching to the head of the network or the final decision maker, you have to pitch to the person and teach them how to pitch your show to someone else.
Because they're going to have to
communicate. Because they're going to have to, and that's all they're really thinking about is what am I leaving this room with?
Well, what I do, and the things that I do, and they never result in a sale, but what I do is for the first 5 or 6 years of pitching, I would spend half the pitch saying what I hate. Right. It's not going to be MASH. Yeah. Well, I like MASH. It's not going to be this. Not going to be that.
Right. Don't expect anything
Don't expect that.
Don't expect those successful things.
And what about story?
I did, but I did tell them about this almost disastrous pitch. I did. Disastrous because it succeeded in many ways. I had done like 2 years of drama pilot. This was after Freaks and Geeks. That I got.
I remember when you were doing dramas.
Yeah. Dramedies. I was doing dramedies.
You were doing dramedies. 1 hour, right, exactly. They were in the vein of Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah, so it was a couple of years of getting paid to write scripts, spending a lot of time, and then nothing.
You had different blind script deals? I don't want to get the crowd too alienated with the lingo.
I had a blind script deal, and I had
a blind script deal, kids. I see most people who listen to the show are like 12. Blind script deals where you sell the script, but you're not necessarily attached to it, right? Isn't that the deal?
No.
Oh.
No, that's not the deal at all.
What is it?
A blind script deal is them going, we will give you X amount of dollars for whatever idea you want to do.
Oh, but when I would do blind script deals, they couldn't guarantee I was going to be in this thing. That's what I thought.
Well, that's smart. That's just
no. Wait. Don't see it from there. Don't see it from their point of view.
But I wasn't doing it as a talent. I was doing it as an executive producer. I was doing it as a showrunner. So I'd done these two years of scripts that didn't go. And then, so I was at CAA at the time, and my agent was like, so do you have a pilot for this year? I'm like, no, I really don't. I don't have an idea right now. And he's like, well, I heard like UPN is looking for a show like that movie Sneakers. And that was, do you remember that movie?
I don't remember that.
It was like Robert Redford and River Phoenix, and it was like about a team of like technical security experts.
I think it's coming back to me. It's a terrible movie, right?
No, it's actually a decent movie.
That's what I said. Why didn't they make more Sneakers?
Let me finish.
But why are they calling? Oh, because they're sneaky?
I guess.
Oh, because I think of Sneakers, I think of PF Flyers.
Yeah, no, it's a different kind of Sneakers.
Kids.
Yes. So he's like, UPN was looking for a show like Sneakers. I'm like, all right, set up a pitch. I'll do a show like Sneakers.
That's the way. By the way, that's the way to make TV. Is choose what you want to copy,
right,
and go for it.
And so he sets up the meeting with the UPN, and I go, I'm thinking about doing a show like Sneakers. They're like, you know what? We've been looking for a show like Sneakers. That's amazing. And they picked it up. They bought the idea, and they hooked me up with Timothy Busfield, as a director,
and also an actor on 30-something, right?
On 30-something and West Wing.
Right. I never saw West Wing.
Oh, really?
Did you love West Wing?
I loved it for a while.
I find it hard just to walk and talk at all now.
I know.
That I've seen Aaron Sorkin.
So I did, so I got this deal and they gave me, like I said, Timothy Busfield as the director. They hired like the actual spy consultant for me, like a State Department spook.
Yeah.
And who still carried a gun and shit and was still an actual federal officer. And, he's taking me to shooting ranges and stuff and telling me all these fucking stories. But here's the thing. I'm not that into like spy thriller stuff, and I don't know anything about technical stuff really. And so I had to bust my fucking brain to write this pilot. It was like every single, because
every single thing you don't want to have in it.
Well, yeah, and it was like, breaking into the server, so like, which makes terrible TV unless you've got like a huge special effects budget to like go through the circuitry and,
What are you seeing? What are you seeing, Harrison? Right. Keyboard sounds.
How do you get a ticking clock onto the screen? And
everyone's staring at the screen.
And I like thought of my one original car chase gag and my one original fight thought, and it was like, but it was it's like, it's not like number 4, number 8, it was like, it was the one. It was the only one I'd ever thought of, and it was the only one I was ever going to think of. And I wrote a decent script, and they were like, and they told me it's down to like you and one or two others. And it was like, and I was like, at that point I was like, oh fuck, please do not pick up the show. Do not pick up.
But what if you had been lined up with people who?
Well, that's what would have happened. I mean, that's what would have really happened is I would have hired a bunch of story type people and been the dialogue guy myself.
Yes.
But it was still really scary. It was really like, oh man, I don't have a creative vision for this show.
Well, did you make a pilot?
No, I made a pilot script and made a bunch of money. He was happy with the pilot. I think he was sad it didn't go.
It is very cool though that they asked you. That is unbelievable that they said to you, UPN is looking for a show like Sneakers, and then you just go in and say, you know what I like to do, fellas?
It was only a tiny bit more complicated than that, but really not. I mean, really, Sneakers was in my pitch.
Man.
I mean, I created characters and things.
How many scripts did you generate, like, for shows? Do you know?
I did 3 drama pilots, and I did a pilot that actually was on the air for FX called Fast Food Films.
What was that about?
And then I wrote... and I wrote other pilot scripts along the way that sometimes they respect. And what about?
The one thing you said. Don't ever say that to me. You can't ever say...
Fast Food Films.
What's that?
Fast Food Films.
Yeah.
That was the premise of it was taking movies, and it was someone else's premise, and they hired me to create a show.
Right.
And the premise was just taking movies and boiling them down to 6 minutes. And so I was hired, and then I hired Paul Feig right before he hired me for Freaks and Geeks, and Trace Beaulieu from MST and America's Funniest, and we did a funny pilot, just finding different sort of ways to package a 6-minute movie so it's not just a summary or a book report. It was like each one had its own little premise.
And I want to see all of these things.
I think you can see some fast food films if you look for if you go to on YouTube, fast food films, Boy in the Plastic Bubble. You'll hear Paul Feig narrating it.
That sounds like
fun. It was pretty funny. Most of them I didn't. I ended up not doing the show. I went back to America's Funniest Home Videos and just had a credit, created by credit.
Oh.
But
isn't that the dream? You create all these different shows like Stephen Cannell.
yeah, little revenue streams.
I heard, though, that one of the things that held you back in the writing dramas was your nickname. No drama Weinstein.
Wow. You just winced at yourself.
So I took no
You
drama.
actually winced at yourself.
I liked it in my head. No drama Obama.
Right.
And the idea that your nickname would indicate that you couldn't write dramas. That seemed very funny to me.
Yeah.
A lot of things are funny to me, but when I get them up on their feet, that's when they're better left undone.
Right.
That's what I say. Now, what about now? Are you going to tell me the VH1s? Or you want me to tell a story first? We don't. This is not something. We don't go to school for this. But what happened to VH1?
Oh, the VH1 was because of Kinnear. That's why I thought of that.
You would think you'd be able to segue. We had a meeting today, folks, because we decided how are we going to improve this. I mean, then Josh said improve perfection. And I said, you're right.
Exactly.
You're right.
Polish an already polished turd.
Well, when you put it that way, it makes it sound appetizing. But so we had a meeting, and we decided to try and lead each other into anecdotes, like Carson would do in the old show. So I understand that you are having trouble with your lawnmower.
Right. Yes, I am. It's
So now something. Now what is this thing about VH1 then? What's the thing about VH1 I heard?
something from my blue card. Oh, the
What's the
VH1
blue-
story
what's
was
the
the
blue card
VH1
mean?
story is because I hadn't thought of it since Kinnear days.
Yeah.
It was Greg was in his first big movie, which was Sabrina, a remake of Sabrina with Harrison Ford.
I saw that.
Sidney Pollack directed it.
Right. I love Sidney Pollack. I saw him once in the Whole Foods in Brentwood, and I was floored.
Yeah.
But what's wrong?
Sorry, it's
You okay?
congestion.
But Sidney Pollack shopping for vegetables?
I have wake apnea.
You have wake apnea.
Yes.
Okay, so Greg was doing Sabrina.
Yes.
Oh, but he didn't leave the show permanently for that.
Not yet. Not at that
See
point.
what a good interviewer I am?
Yes. So he was going back and forth, and we were banking shows, which isn't very fun on a late night talk show at all. Don't do anything topical. Okay.
Oh,
That's
nothing-
actually when I left the show, is when that started happening, by the way.
Why? Because he started getting more movies, and then
Yeah, it was clear he was going to be a movie star, and I couldn't just keep banking shows because all you have is topicality when you're doing a daily show. You know,
That's wrong. He had one foot out the door, is what it sounds like.
he
to
did.
me.
But he gets hired to host this the Vh1 Honors, which was this award show on VH1, obviously, to award celebrities for their charitable work.
It always sounds like a scam.
It was kind of a
Everything they
scam,
do.
but there was big stars involved. There was like really big stars on this show. Michael Jackson was on this show.
Oh my God.
Bette Midler was on the show. Morgan Freeman, like Vince Gill. It was like a bunch of and the Reverend Al Green, who they had to make up charitable work he was gonna do.
I think that's
They
so
like
good.
formed a they like booked him and then realized, he hasn't actually done much charitable
I
work
love
at
Al
all.
Green. Now,
I do too.
Was he like he was born again or something? Maybe or
I don't know. I've only known him as the Reverend Al Green always.
Right, and I love. Oh God, he's so great.
But yeah, me too. But so we had to create. We had to set up a little charity for Al Green and talk about what he was about
Sounds
to
like a
do.
Celebrity Apprentice situation.
It was kind of that. So Greg is off filming Sabrina at this time, and he ropes me into being his guy, his writer guy, monologue, his guy on the show. And the producer of the show, we won't say who he is, but he's the guy who produces award shows.
I know who he is.
Yeah. And he wasn't, he frankly didn't want me there. And
I think I had the same experience.
And it was
too.
very clear from day one when I went to his office with the Emmy Nook built in that he didn't
What
want
did he
me.
explain how this
It's like
works?
he had built this office that it was literally sort of, there was a nook built into his
With
wall
the Emmys?
that was Emmy shaped.
That is the worst thing I've ever heard. It's worse than the Holocaust.
Yes. So he didn't want me there to begin
I'm
with.
kidding, Josh. It's not worse than the Holocaust. Jesus. You got pretty upset.
I was just trying to not get derailed.
That's right. That's right. I can see that look in your
I'm
eyes.
just going to throw those in there like that. I'll have to start paying attention.
Yeah. Well, at least I'm very proud of myself this week because I'm letting you get a couple of words in edgewise in the story.
Usually the first half of the show is yours. And then you got to wait for you to like
But even when
to
you're
tuck her
telling,
out.
you see how I'm interrupting right now?
Yeah.
That's my problem. And I don't know. I'm trying to cure.
See, what the problem is that I don't know that these stories can actually bear the weight of your interruption. I don't know that they're actually that strong a story.
No, but originally I thought of myself as like I could add to the stories,
right?
Like going, right. But it's like one of the guys I can't stand is Chuck Todd, who's on NBC, and it doesn't matter why I can't stand him. But when he asks someone a question, he's so self-absorbed. He answers like this when they're answering. He makes that sound.
Right.
You don't interview someone and go,
I'm doing it as you're telling me this, though.
What's that?
I'm going, right, yeah.
Right.
As you're telling me this, I'm doing, yeah.
But it actually proves that he doesn't care what they're saying. Now I want to ask you this.
Right.
All right. So, by the way, I just want to interject with this, though, that you have worked with the biggest names in this business, my friend, with all these shows you've been on.
It's been a long career.
I don't know why I said the biggest names in the business.
Career, Andy.
You worked with Ray Charles.
No, I didn't. I met James Brown on later, though.
Oh, my God.
I met Little Richard. I got aspirin for Little Richard.
That sounds like an old joke.
It does.
You have what he had a headache?
Yes. Oh Lordy, I have a headache.
He actually said he invented headaches. They stole
I'm the architect of headaches.
That's me and Josh almost doing what we would. Josh and I would not do a black voice because we're educated enough to know that would be rude.
Right, but you're doing specifically Little Richard.
That's right, but that's the quandary.
Right.
Is how do you do as a white person? How do you do anything?
You lay in just enough dialect to sell the character and then back off.
Right, because Bill Maher's black guy is always like, and the black guy's going.
Right, Andy.
He reveals his racism through his jokes.
I was still trying to conceal my racism with my Little Richard.
No, we're not. No, we have gotten awards from the Anti-Defamation League.
We're like Al Green. We'll get future awards.
Did you know I toured the country as Andy Defamation?
Yeah, I did.
Briefly.
I did
it was right after Andy Christ.
Right. For turning water into wine.
They got the wrong idea. The churches got the wrong idea. I toured as Andy Christ.
Right.
They took me the wrong way. The Antichrist, they started calling me.
There's no the.
You know what
you added the the.
You know what my catchphrase was? Turning water into wine. That is the greatest catchphrase. People have to realize that you're spelling it like a pun.
Yes, I think they will if you say wine.
All right, so we're back on the VH1
We're back on the
soundstage.
VH1. Okay. So I'm working with Mr. Big Producer Guy.
That we won't say.
We don't need to say because I might need a joke writing gig someday.
But those are the initials, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that's older than him.
You know what I'm talking about here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Only two Jews who worked in the business would know who the people that have annoyed them.
Initials down.
By initials.
So he didn't want me there. Greg is off in New York filming Sabrina. So I'm like just working with him here. It's not like I'm working with Greg, you know. Greg's too busy to even talk to me. He's just expecting me to have some shit for him when he gets back. And like 4 days before the award show, Greg's like, I'm not going to be able to get away.
From Sabrina?
From Sabrina, yeah. They're not going to break me.
What was so earth-shattering about wasn't Sabrina shot on one set? It's like a love story. Why did they have to be at Sabrina? It really makes me feel and you know what? I mean, he's starting to annoy me now, this Greg Kinnear.
Yeah, well, you know, I think.
Why did he tell you and not the show is what I want to know.
You know, he told the show.
Oh, right.
And so I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm done here. And they were like, nope. So they bring in Jennifer Aniston and Lisa Kudrow as the hosts.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, sounds like it'll be fun, except Lisa Kudrow and Jennifer Aniston, they bring their own guys from Friends.
Oh, no.
So they've got their own guys. I'm like, I asked those, you guys want any help? No, we're good.
They didn't want any of your help.
They didn't want my help. They were just gonna, they were there for, their girls, and I was there for my guy who wasn't coming. So
did they ever start out a joke with the one about?
So, but instead of letting me go, since they had to pay me already at this point, they just made me come to rehearsals for 2 days and do nothing.
Was it painful?
It was kind of painful because I hate doing nothing.
And you couldn't contribute?
I couldn't really contribute. There's nothing to contribute.
Well, what kind of writers don't respect another writer?
I don't know. You'll have to ask them.
Right.
With their Waterman pens, So now the night of the show, and it's like they basically, all right, you stand by the next to the stage in case anyone needs a line. Like no one's going to need.
This is a torturing you.
But it's like stand right there.
Yeah.
It was really like this is your spot. This is
So this person is a bad person, right?
He was kind of I didn't have fun.
But I'm saying in the way he was trying to make you have a bad time.
Yeah, absolutely. He resented me and didn't hide it.
I love those kind of people.
Yeah, he resented that he had to pay me from the beginning, and,
right.
and he resented now that I was an extra thing he had to pay for.
So in his mind, he thinks you went up to Jennifer Aniston and Lisa Kudrow like, you guys don't need me, right? You got your own people.
Right, exactly. And so they put me like right next to the stage, and I get to chat with Morgan Freeman and people who are waiting to go on, but they don't need a line. They have their stuff on the prompter, and that's what they're going to say, Except for now Michael Jackson's coming, and now this giant security team moves into the wings of the stage. And and this giant guy keeps going, you have to move out of here. And I'm like, I can't move. This is my spot.
Yeah, right.
You have to move. And I'm like, and now I'm pissed. I'm like, no, I'm not moving. I promise I won't touch Michael.
Right.
And he's just like, stands in front of me. And kind of, puts his back to me and just sort of occasionally will sort of lean back, like as if to clear me.
Oh my
and I'm just like, at that point, I'm like, fuck you, I'm here. and so Michael Jackson and Boyz II Men do their number, and they literally come out of the floor. They like rise up out of the floor, and it's Michael Jackson and Boyz II Men, and they're doing their song, and and they finish the song. And Michael Jackson like dashes off stage immediately, like as if people were mobbing him, but no one was mobbing him because we're backstage at a showbiz thing.
Yes.
So
there's no chance for him.
And his security team like moves in around him, and they start like ushering him out quickly as if they were like Secret Service ushering a president who's just been shot almost. And one of the Boyz II Men guys sees him rushing off without him saying goodbye or anything. He's like, "All right, Mike. See ya." And Michael Jackson like stops dead in his tracks and turns around and goes back and hugs all the Boyz II Men guys and says, "Good job," and does all this thing, and then rush back out the other door. But it was so funny to see this guy go, "All right, Mike,
goodbye." And anything Morgan Freeman say that?
I told him I was a big fan since all the way back to Easy Reader, which was an electric company. He's like, "Oh, you go way back."
Oh, he was on the Electric Company.
Yes, he was.
I'm another show that I didn't watch, but it's after my.
It's
after my
time.
time. Wow.
So that's the VH1 story.
You can't say, you never can say a story and at the end you go, "Ladies and gentlemen."
I was trying to get out of it. That's all.
Yeah, and that's what we call the VH1 story.
Right. And scene.
Now let me see if there's anything I need to talk to you about.
How's it going with your prep for Montreal? Are you freaking out?
No, the reason why I'm not freaking out is that this is the first year that I'm on medication and have therapy. So all the other years of my life.
In previous years, you'd be sequestered almost for a month.
Yeah, but not realizing that OCD, and I'm not saying, look, maybe I do get a little money back. I get a little taste every time someone buys a generic antidepressant, which is, I'm not sure why. But
you just want to wet your beak.
I just want to. Daddy needs a new pair of beaks.
Wow.
I'm sorry, my energy is off, but I'm going to bring it up. You wait till the close. This is going to be the best last 15 minutes.
You can tell Andy's energy is off because I've talked a lot this hour.
No, that's not what the problem is. The problem is this. I see our show like we're surfers, and neither one of us can surf. I think
right.
is the main problem.
We're body surfers.
So I. Not having realized that I had an illness, which was OCD, I just would tough it out. Now, when I say illness, I don't want people to write letters like they're going to write anyway.
Right.
They don't want me to use the illness model. I'm using the illness model because it is an actual model, because you can look at OCD as a disorder or illness. But I'm not excusing all of the wrongs that I've done. And when I say wrongs, I mean not returning phone calls.
Right. And the problem with the OCD model, by the way, is you have to line up every single piece.
Yeah.
In exact order.
And I don't never put the inside of the model together, like I did with the USS Enterprise. So I didn't realize how much I was struggling and also spinning out of control, mainly because of social networking.
Yeah.
So I would be that.
Just the time suck of it?
Well, because... not to depress everybody again, but my dad died, and don't stop hawking. Don't send me gifts, people. And I stopped doing Taekwondo, which I'd done for my whole life. It's a whole long story, but I had all of a sudden the whole day was free.
Right.
I didn't have my dad. Well, my dad lived on the other coast. And so I spun more and more and more and more out of control, which was not being able to do anything, which I didn't understand why I couldn't do something. I would just yell at myself all day.
Right.
So I would write the speech every year, but it would be a lot of chazarah and pain. I'm still in pain, but not as much pain.
Right.
So I'm thinking everything is. The main thing is I should put a lot of pressure on myself now to say this better be the year. Then, if you can't do it well now with the medication and therapy, maybe I'm not good enough.
That's, I think, good. At least you changed the conversation.
I'm very proud. I just to let you know how I felt about this podcast. I started to get very nervous halfway through, and I don't know why.
Yeah, because I was talking. And
No.
I'm pretty
See,
sure.
you're focusing on you talking. I'm focusing on how I'm listening.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible listener,
Right.
And I'm always a ha, a who, a he. So it's not you. You don't. These stories don't have to be. They don't have to be the. I mean, it would be nice if you could make stuff up like Kathy Griffin.
Right. I just don't have that magic.
But neither one of us are ever going to
And
be.
then
like,
I held up Michael Jackson's severed head.
She blocked me many years ago. I don't
Did
know
she?
why.
I don't know why either. Why would she?
But I can't say I miss her. How are we? I could talk about someone accusing me of stealing.
Oh, that I want to hear.
Okay.
See, I mean, you won't have the fire for next week. I would say let's save it for next week, but you're not going to have the same fire next week. So what happened? Who accused
so
you
what
of
I did was
stealing?
I tweeted. I was watching a Dateline, and I tweeted something like, "These Dateline husbands should take a class on how to lie when someone has just told them that the wife they murdered is dead."
Yeah.
Right? Because I happened to be watching one that night where the guy goes like, he's like, "Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!" He goes on the floor. He's like, "Oh, I can't tell me it's not true. Oh, my wife is dead."
And this is him recounting the story.
What happened was, it's not a pretty story because there was a fire involved and his wife is dead. But so he's pretending like he doesn't. Maybe, and God bless him, maybe he'll get out on appeal. But he's trying to act upset. Is how it's like. They're like, "Ah."
But I mean, how do you mean? Is that this is?
It's in the interrogation room.
Okay.
Yeah, they always. Don't you watch Dateline? Of course you do.
No, but I had lunch with Josh Mankiewicz.
I know that. I'm so jealous of that. You're personal friends with Josh Mankiewicz.
Yes.
And he seems like a nice guy. Otherwise, why would you be having lunch with him?
Exactly.
So is he nice? No, he's a horrible man.
Yeah. Did you see what I tweeted the other day to him? He was talking about there was some horse camping thing. He's like, "There's yet another reason I don't go camping." I'm like, "Don't worry, no one wants to go camping with the murder guy anyway."
How'd that go? That gets
Yeah, he
play?
faved it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
He said, "Yeah, good point." He said.
Good point.
Yeah.
And you imagined him as Josh Mankiewicz saying.
Exactly.
But so then someone comes in and says, maybe. So I said maybe they should take a class on how to act surprised when someone tells you the wife you just murdered is dead.
Right.
And then someone comes and goes, maybe you shouldn't hack Patrice O'Neal's bit. He says to me, from 2005 or whatever. And, I have a little pet peeve.
Yeah.
If you accuse someone of stealing.
Yeah.
They're just out of nowhere. I've been doing comedy for 30 years. But these people, I don't think he tried to get out of it later on, like back out of it.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm sorry. He realized that, first of all, I know Patrice O'Neal from Letterman and stuff.
Right.
I've never seen a concert thing that he's done.
Right.
So, but anyway.
You don't have to defend yourself.
I know, but they say I sound guilty. That's the thing I hate about the thievery thing.
I know.
Is there's no way to not sound guilty as you're defending yourself.
Right. Because you want to know. It's not like you can just go, no, it's not. You have to go
Yeah.
fucking see. You have to go look and see if there's a bid online, if Patrice O'Neal, and if it's close or what.
Right, and the other thing was, I just figured, and by the way, I decided, I'm so lazy, I said, I just won't do it rather than look. But, look, one year I came up with, I thought I came up with, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. I thought I came up with it at the moment. And then I realized I hadn't come up with it.
Right.
And then, so I kind of even apologized for it. But there's no way that Just the idea that people think that you know every joke that's been constructed going in is just ludicrous.
Right. And that they won't give you the benefit of the doubt of being a genuine pro who knows that stealing isn't good.
Well, this guy did progressively backed out with many different tactics.
That's good.
That was like...
At least you made him squirm.
At one point, and the other thing is, everything on Twitter, you get mad and then you're like, what's happening? What's going on here? Because I do hate when I take things really the wrong way because it was really hard to figure out what they were saying.
Right.
So it's a good argument for just getting off of Twitter.
You can do you don't have to block everybody. You do the block undo. So that just unfollows them from you.
Oh, you mean the mute? What's that?
No, if you block somebody, it'll then bring up a thing that you've blocked this person. Do you want to undo it?
Yeah.
And then you can undo it, and then they're no longer following you.
Oh, that's a good thing.
It's like kicking them off your list.
They
have to eat the crow to actually refollow you if they want to.
I never understand. Like, I think people, obviously, if you have a word like troll, it's obviously a word that you're going to misuse. It's not exactly the descriptive word because we all have a little troll in us. But I do, people are probably laughing.
We all have a little imp in us. You're thinking of imp, I think.
But when people pretend that they don't understand why you're upset at them, that's the thing that always cracks me up.
Right.
They say something obviously mean. And like, what do you... I just said one thing to the guy. I say it all the time on Twitter. I said one horrible thing to him.
Right, and he blocks me.
Right. How many horrible things? Right. Like one guy I blocked, he goes, boy, that wasn't... I
don't have a 3 strikes you're out policy with strangers saying shitty things to me.
Right, well, like when the whole Seth Rogen thing happened, some guy... Like, when you're in this mode where you're trying to, in a way, apologize or admit the unsavory parts of you.
Right.
So this person was seeing, like, that I'm being he's like seeing me be nice to Seth Rogen. And also, he is someone who's on TV. And so, I mean, it's like I'm like anybody else. I like people who are on TV. Right. I'm excited to meet people who are funny. So this guy makes some comment like, "Oh, this is sickening to see the way you're whatever it was that he assumed I was."
Yeah, but you've been talking about it on the podcast as if you are sort of kissing up to him. So he was probably playing along with that.
No, I think this even predated that.
Oh, okay.
It predated, and then I blocked him, and then he goes, "Boy, that didn't take much." I will unblock anybody who has somebody say to me.
It does seem, all you need is an unblocked lawyer.
Well, if they say they want to be unblocked, then either I took it the wrong way or it's a trick.
You can always block them again.
John Manfredi, this great comic, told me the story about how there was a New York Jet. He was at a New York Jets game, and there was this guy yelling at this New York Jet, "Hey, Wilson, 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 Wilson!" And the football players know that they're don't turn around.
Right.
So the guy won't turn around. Finally, the guy gets tired. He turns around and he goes, "Fuck you!" And he turns around and back to Wilson again. But I don't know why I said that story, but it seemed interesting to me.
Yeah, it was. So what's coming up this week or next week?
Now, do you think I have dementia? The fact that is this a sign of dementia?
What, asking about it?
Forgetting what you just said. No. You have it too, a little bit.
Yeah,
not as bad as me.
Right.
Well, what does it mean?
Well, I think in your case, I mean, when my parents' friends, my mom died when she was not that much older than you, and I saw a lot of her and her friends having those. They call them senior moments.
Wait, did your mom have it?
But no, it wasn't Alzheimer's. It was just like at 60, you start forgetting shit occasionally.
I told you to never. I can't even fucking believe it. We went through this. I had to send you a letter from my lawyer about this.
Yeah.
I'm 45 on the podcast.
Okay.
And I said to you, I've already dug my own hole by ordering at Denny's and saying, "Did you know how old I am?"
Right.
I don't know why that was funny, because it wasn't. But now you have to dig me a deeper hole. But you know what? You're actually comforting me. It could be. That's what it is.
I mean, I really believe it. I mean, they're like, that was really common,
Not the pot smoking.
Not the pot. No, the pot smoking. I think there was probably pot smokers among my parents' friends, but I don't think that's why they were having senior moments.
If you say senior moments one more time, I'm going to upend this table.
I'm enjoying it so much. and that you're buying it.
Well, it's like
that you're relieved by it.
I was
really
fascinated by that
like.
Touch of Grey commercial. Remember that? Yeah. I just love the whole idea that older people show youthfulness by still playing in their horrible rock band.
Right. Yeah, that's not good.
They're still taking care of business and using Aleve.
Right. That's how I take care of business. Thanks, Aleve.
And you know what? Now I'm thinking maybe there's some money in this writing for.
Yes, for taglines for seniors.
I would much prefer mocking commercials.
Those aren't bad side effects, are they? There's a lot of medicine commercials now with just senior couples being very supportive of each other.
It is some people realize, or many people realize, but it is unbelievable to think that you were not allowed to have commercials for drugs on TV.
Yes.
And now that's all you have.
Yes, especially if you watch news channels all day.
Right, which I do.
Right. I'm thinking about a reverse mortgage as well. So
I love the reverse mortgage.
And when did Tom Selleck become Wilford Brimley? It was such a subtle thing, but it happened.
Well, I also like that there's one of them is like designed to make you, like for a conservative, like Ronald Reagan.
Right.
He's the first president to introduce reverse mortgages.
Right.
So, like, don't worry about it, folks. There's no liberals involved.
Right, exactly. A wise, sage old man thought of it.
I think we're ready to end the show soon, but I just want to tell everybody, if you want to make yourself sick, go to James Wood's Twitter account. He might be the most awful human being in America right now.
He's working. He's gunning for it, is the thing.
I mean, and then the people who respond to him. That's how you know someone's a hideous person, when the thread becomes almost like a hate meeting.
Right. A James Woods rally.
And now...
Not that I ever go to read James Woods' Twitter, I have to say.
I know. That's where you would probably say, Andy, why are you going there?
Well, again, we have different agendas on Twitter. Well, you're looking to get pissed off.
This is what we should take up next week.
Okay.
On my various issues with Twitter, which people have heard before, but there's always new stuff percolating.
That's right.
How can people get in touch with us?
They should write us at thoughtspiralshow@gmail.com or hit us up at Twitter, ThoughtSpiral at Twitter.
And why do we want them to write us again?
Because otherwise we end up thinking people don't like us.
No, that's real. I really want the feedback. It's not like YouTube comments.
Right.
Okay, so write us there, and also follow us on Twitter, and we have a Thought Spiral account, but I have my own Andy Kindler, and you have your own J. Elvis Weinstein. I
do, and I got the Cinematic Titanic Box Set. I just got in the mail this past week. I got one for you here.
I was wondering if you were going to give this to me.
Yes.
This isn't just because you told me you want to pitch this.
No.
This is fantastic.
That's all 12 episodes coming out.
Is it more than one DVD inside of it?
Yeah, there's like 6. And it's you can get it. Cinematic Titanic was all the original Mystery Science Theater cast members, and it's all the 12 DVDs we made. Joel Hodgson, Trace Beaulieu, Frank Conniff, Mary Jo Pehl, and me. And it's available at Shout Factory for pre-order. And I'll give you a secret. It's on Amazon for pre-order, super crazy cheap. So even though it's biting my own hand,
right,
get it at Amazon since you're a Thought Spiral insider.
And, that made me. You actually sickened me with that last.
Yes,
because we're both not good pitchers of stuff.
No.
Don't forget to buy the Andy Kindler mugs, Thought Spiral mugs. I listened to Thought Spiral, and all I got was this mug.
I'm with mug. That's why.
I'm with mug. I love that shirt. Write that down or listen to the show. I'm with mug. It's perfect. He's stupid. Nobody, we're copywriting this. You're going to make something an I'm with mug mug. I'm with mug. That's really my favorite joke I've ever heard. Oh, God. So, how about we make a coffee mug that has a thought spiral, like it starts with, hey, how's everything going? And then you see the thought spiral. Hey, did you ever wonder if it's across the universe? And boom.
Yeah, we'll have to.
I already hate it.
We'll have to find a muggery that doesn't charge by the letter.
And we want to make cheap mugs, like the kind of mugs we want to make. Like, if you're not sure if people can drink out of them, that's the kind of price we're looking for.
Right. If you want a mouthful of porcelain.
Yeah. I'm not convinced that BFA or PBAs or whatever they are bad for you.
PCBs?
Yeah.
No, me either.
How about people who aren't using PCBs? This is 100% PCB.
Why not have a lead mug and be able to mold it into whatever shape you want it?
I go with extra GMO. That's how rebellious I am.
Wow.
Josh, if you don't end the show, I'm going to come over the table. You know how long we've been recording? We've been recording for 2 days.
Oh, that's why.
You know, don't you ever wonder if I'm a busy guy and I have a lot of stuff to do later tonight?
No, because I monitor you on Twitter.
I hate that. I hate that my mom knows where I am every minute of the day. Was this the point of Twitter? That my mom could say, I know you're on Twitter.
Right. They can't actually physically tackle you and tag you, so they watch.
I can't answer the phone. I mean, I don't answer the phone.
Right.
But then I also don't tweet, so people don't. Well, that's not true. But why do you want to know where I am at all times?
I don't.
I know.
I just want you to be here every Monday night at 9 for Thought Spiral.
Well, thank you, everybody. And until next time, let your thought spirals be a nice, tight spiral. Let your thoughts come out in a nice, tight spiral.
Good night.